Where did the beast come from? Knights immediately rush toward me. I back away as far as I can without re-entering the throne room. Princess, come quietly and we'll keep you somewhere safe until this all dies down. I cannot take them all at once. Even knowing that I still put on my sword, I take a few steps back and then suddenly feel my back pressed up against something. The beast stands behind me. Its back to me. I stand in its shadow and I realize that if I turned around, it could swat me to the walls just like the rest of the victims. But it's just standing there, together. Together? The beast says nothing more, though I though I still feel on edge. There is something oddly familiar about this. Claude told me once it was better to fight back to back. I will trust you for now, whatever you are. I do not know if it understands me, but I can hope. It seems more like a human than any kind of animal. Princess, get away from the beast. It will. The knight never finishes his sentence as the beast sends him flying through the air. Why is it helping me? The knights fall like dominoes to the beast, but manage to remain standing when I strike them with my sword. Even just taking one down is so hard. These men have been trained for years, while I haven't even had a luxury of a ear. Out of the corner of my eyes, I sense movement. I see a gleam of silver and hear a grunt as a sword is raised into the air. The sword is nowhere near reaching me, but the beast. I aim a kick at an approaching knight before whirling around to look at the beast. The oncoming sword comes closer to the beast's exposed back, and I know the beast will not be able to dodge in time. Move! I shove past the creature and catch the knight's sword with my own before it can harm the beast. My arms are shaking underneath the strength of the impact between our swords. I feel like my arms are going to give out. Then a flash of light appears, so bright that everyone is temporarily blinded. I stumble back, rubbing at my eyes. From the sounds of it, the beast is continuing to drive back the knights, most of them shouting to each other to retreat. What was that? When I am finally able to see again, my eyes automatically land on my feet. I stare in shock. Glass slippers? I quickly reach up to my pendant and realize that it is no longer there. I completed my 3 good deeds. You said it knows my name? I look around and realize that the beast and I are alone. The knights having fled. Did the beast drive off the rest of them? I feel a pressure at my back and realize that the beast is touching me. My first instinct is to run, but the words it utters next paralyze me. You, okay? Every word sounds breathless and painted, like it takes too much to speak, is worried about me. I watch in shock as the beast appears to gestures towards my shoes. You did it. I step back warily. What are you? The beast reaches out and I see something glittering in the palm of its hand. The rose locket. For a few moments, my heart plummets into my stomach, and my hands begin to quiver. What did you do? What did you do to Claude? The beast's shadowed fingers curl over the locket, even as he stares at me. I gave that locket to Claude. The beast only stares at me for a few moments longer, and then suddenly I realized that his words, nothing more than a pained growl, do not hold my malice. I gave that locket to you? The beast slowly nods. My grasp on the sword loosens as I stare at him in shock, realization dawning upon me. Claude? Yes. So this is your secret? Why would you not tell me? I could have hurt you. Claude has another form, a cursed form, and he never told me. Why? As my mind whirls, I feel everything coming together like the pieces of a puzzle. Secrets are secrets for a reason, Princess. You should know that. If I could speak on them, I would. But I can't. Lucid, I wish I could explain. You would hate me, or more accurately, you would be afraid of me. All of those times, Claude was clutching at his chest. You were touching your tattoos so many times before, like you're in pain. The beast growls, and the sound is surprisingly soft, almost a sigh. Curse. Then the tattoo was a warning. The first time I saw that tattoo, it was a beautiful rose. The second time, it had more thorns. When the rose became ensnared in thorns, did he transform? And he always touched his tattoo when he came too close to me. Claude, your curse did not just make others fall in love with you. It stopped you from loving anyone too, didn't it? You mentioned that woman before, the one who thought he loved, the one who thought he loved, the one who he thought loved him, but didn't. Is it possible that she saw him in this form and was terrified of him? If you loved anyone, you would turn into a beast. You loved a woman once, but she loved you because of your curse. The minute you transformed, she was scared of you. Wasn't she? Yes. He sounds so pained. The reason Claude has been trying to hide everything from me is because he is scared that I would have feared him. That is why beauty has always been so important to him, but the curse cast upon him makes him both beautiful and a beast. I wanted you to love me, but no one could love a beast. His words are dwindling. It almost sounds like he's being suffocated on the inside with how slowly he's speaking. Claude, I have never cared much about appearance. People have worn masks on their faces their whole life around me. Claude, I take a deep breath and face him. I will love you, no matter what form you take. I drop my sword to the ground and make my way over to him. I rest my cheek on his chest and wrap my arms around him. I love you. The room is filled with bright but gentle light. It almost feels like I am bathing in sunlight. For a few moments, I forget my worries. Everything feels blissful and quiet, and my heart feels full. Then moments later, I feel warm arms around my waist. I love you too, Lucette. When I open my eyes, I still can't see anything, even though I know that the light has faded. The warmth is still there too, but now I feel it immediately on my skin, and I realize that it is because Claude is hugging me, not as a beast, but as a man. Did I break his curse? I realize this is the first time Claude has ever touched me for a long period of time without abruptly moving away. Tentatively, I move my hands, feeling the fabric of his shirt and the warmth of him underneath it. Claude. But before I can finish my sentence, my lips are sealed. I feel Claude's lips on mine, only briefly, but it is enough to make me suddenly feel faint. He pulls away from me with a brilliant smile. I've always wanted to do that. Lucette, you're blushing. If I could, I would kiss you again, but we have some urgent things to attend to. The reality of the situation begins to seep back into me. My father, Varg, Alcester, they are all still in the throne room. The king. Let's go, Lucette. When Claude and I rush into the throne room, my attention is immediately grabbed by the king calling my name. Lucette. He is still bound to the throne, though his gag is removed. A rush of relief floods through me. He is alive. He is alive, and he remembers me. My gaze is drawn in the two men battling at the base of the throne. Their swords are locked together in a stalemate. Alcester and Fritz? What has happened here? This is not how you gain power. I knew you would be a thorn. I knew you would be a thorn in my side from the moment I concocted this plan. Where is Varg? The only one here is me. I will. Fritz's concentration slips as his eyes land on me. The opening is small, but it is enough as to give Alcaster the opportunity he needs. Watch out! Claude is already running over to help, but even he is too slow. Alcaster disarmed Fritz before driving his sword through Fritz's chest. No. Alcester pulls the sword out of Fritz's chest just fast enough to deflect Claude's attack. As Claude drives Alcester away from the throne, I rush to where has collapsed to the ground. His eyes are already growing glassy. Fritz, I lean over him. There's so much blood. I glare at Alcester. How could you do this to your own son? Anyone in my way will meet my sword. Blood does not matter. Princess. I turn back to Fritz in alarm, tears in my eyes. Fritz, hold on. Don't speak. You need to conserve your energy. Princess, I'm sorry. Fritz, please don't speak. I feel bitter, tears stinging my eyes. I'm sorry. I watch as the life seeps from Fritz's eye. I put my hand to his chest to feel for a heartbeat, but Fritz's body is still. Fritz. I glance up at the sound to see Claude at the far side of the room, struggling to get to his feet. Lucid, watch out. I turn but am not fast enough. I see Alcaster's sword raised high in the air, and I know it will reach me before I can pick up my sword. The sword falls from Alcaster's hand as a bright red ribbon of light twines around the hilt and drags it far from reach. I turn and see Delora standing a short distance away, Jurian, Garland, and Waltz all standing behind her. I'm afraid your performance as king has been incredibly disappointing. Jurian and Garland move together, rushing Alcaster from the same side. I see Claude moving in from the other side, quiet and lethal. Princess. Waltz and Delora rush over to me as the fighting continues. Alcaster has reclaimed the sword and is trying to evade attacks from 3 different swords at once. The king. Waltz nods at me, his gaze lingering on Fritz, and his expression becomes solemn. He walks off the throne while Delora kneels beside me. Delora shakes her head, and that is all I need to know that there is nothing more to be done. We will make sure he is properly honored, but for now, we need to get you out of here. What about Ophelia? Waiting for us somewhere safe. I constructed a shield around her that will keep her hidden from view and harm until we return to her. Weren't we meant to bring the royal family back to the merchant first? Not when we're missing the king. Besides, plans change when a magical beast starts rampaging in the castle. Princess. I turn to look at Alcaster, who is still somehow managing to scream my name, despite the fact that he is being quite quickly overwhelmed. Princess, we could have worked together. If you were more like your mother, you could have ruled with grace, beauty, and fear. I flinch back, and Delora's hands come to rest on my forearms, her grip steadying. That is enough. I look up and see the king has stopped to stand beside me. To my surprise, the king rests a gentle hand on my shoulder, his eyes soft as he looks at me. Lucid, we have a lot to talk about, but right now I have something I must do. I nod mutely and watch the king draw his sword. He makes his way to Alcester, Jurian, Garland, and Claude take a step back from where they have forced Alcester to one knee. You are a traitor lacking any honor, Alcester. You were the one that lacked honor. A ruler must have the people beneath his thumb. A ruler must lead people, not suffocate them. His oath as king is to protect them. You are no king, Alcester. For your crimes, I find you guilty and incapable of rehabilitation. The sentence for the severity of your crimes is death. The king raises his sword, and I turn away before he strikes down his sword. There is no sound of scream to follow. I turn once more to see that the king has pointed the sword at Alcester's chest, but has not killed him. You will stay in prison until the time for your trial comes. Though you might try to refute these claims, you will be tried as a traitor to this kingdom, and then you will be executed. Alcester's shoulders fall. The glare never leaves his face, not even when the guards seize him and drag him to the room. The king immediately sends Jurian and Garland out to deal with any knights that are still a part of the coup. Delora and Claude help with moving Fritz's body, while Waltz tries his best to fill the king in on the most basic points of our successful operation. Everything has died down a little bit over the last hour, but I feel overwhelmed. I glance at Waltz and the king, who are still speaking. Every time the king sees me looking at him, he flashes me an uncertain smile before glancing away. I know he wants to speak with me, but I will talk to him after. After I can get Fritz's body out of my mind. It was my fault he died, wasn't it? He saw me and stumbled. Hey, princess. What are you doing here? Here I thought you changed, but you've still got some festiness in you, don't you? Many years ago, when the war ended, we were all four faced with a feeling just like this, princess. We had lost so much, and the future seemed so grim. But now it's different. You have a future. You broke your curse, princess. That gives you some kind of hope. And in addition, you broke karma's. Memories of Claude's arms around me, of his lips on mine, come flying back to my foggy mind. My heart still feels tight, but it is a little lighter when I think about him. I wish he was here right now. How did I break Claude's curse? Claude, I don't think I'll ever get used to his real name. Seems like he hasn't told you yet. I guess it's been pretty hectic. So Claude turned into a beast because he loved me? Hmm, well, I guess I could give you the laydown on of his curse. Stop. Desist. Delora has not even started to speak when Claude runs into the room, gasping as if he's been running through the halls. Curse. Are you speaking about my curse? There is no way he heard us talking in the hallway, is there? Even I feel at a loss for words right now. I sense that you might be talking about me. The princess was just asking me about your curse. Oh, then I was right to come running, and here I was just guessing at what you might be talking about. Karma, oh, I mean Claude's curse, was based off of the tale The Beauty and the Beast. Claude easily finishes her sentence. Delora holds up her hands as if in surrender, so eager to steal the spotlight. Well, you are talking about me, after all. You always told me that your curse was just the beauty's curse, though. Well, yes, because the other half was a little difficult to explain, wasn't it? He has a point, though I think he might have been able to save us all some trouble if he hasn't been so secretive about his curse. He really must have been scared that I would shoot him. Allow me to explain, princess. In the fairy tale, a prince of the kingdom is transformed into a beast because his heart is as cold as ice. Sounds familiar to a certain icy princess, huh? Just trying to lighten the mood. Claude sighs. I would call Lucette something far more flattering, like my sweet beloved. We were talking about your curse. Oh, right. Well, anyway, the witch who cursed the prince in the tale tells him that he has to earn to love and be loved before the petals of a rose completely fall off. A rose? Yes, she gives him a rose, and he keeps it protected under glass. Some time passes, and the rose continues to wither away. A maiden finds the beast, and eventually the two fall in love. At the end of the tale, she confesses her love to the beast, and he transforms back into a human. By confessing, I saved you. But his curse was different from the tale. I know what you're thinking. That my curse was somewhat different. It was more complicated. The witch made it so that I was both the beauty and the beast. She said it suited me because I was so vain. The witch constructed a very roundabout curse. Any woman who falls for me falls in love with me as the beauty. And when I transformed into a beast, the enchantment would break and they would become terrified of me. I doubt Claude ever thought he would break the curse. The love woman felt for him while he was cursed was always fake. How could that kind of love hold strong when he turned into a beast if it was never true to begin with? Then you came along, princess. I bet he just about given up hope and was waiting for you to dispel the curse on your birthday. But now, here you both are. But the ice princess in love, what a miracle. I turn away, embarrassed. It is not a miracle. I am very glad I met you, Lucid. Lady Dolora's words are the truth. I had just about given up hope. I never had any hopes of breaking my curse. I had thought that the only way to fix it would be to have you dispel it on your birthday. But then I came to know you and we fell in love, a fairy tale indeed. You started out frowning at everyone and everything. You've come a long way, princess. Congratulations, you turned out to be a pretty okay princess. And you turned out to be a pretty okay witch. Gasped. Do my ears deceive me? A compliment from our little witch? You look so surprised, but you'll be the new bearer of our crystal real soon, princess. I expect good things from you. Right, I almost forgot about that part. I'll try my best. Yet another miraculous proclamation from the little witch. Will the surprises never cease? Before I can snap at Delora against the king, awkwardly interjects, coming to stand next to us with Waltz by his side. Pardon the intrusion. Oh, not at you. Oh, not at all, Your Majesty. Waltz told me that you were cursed. That's why I forgot about you. Yes. Even if it was by a curse, I feel terrible that such a thing could have ever happened. So I will make it up to you. You can catch up from where we were many, many years ago, and maybe things can be different. I'm sorry. For what? For being the way that I was before, for shooting Ophelia and her children. Oh, Ophelia, did they bring her back to the merchant? Ophelia is still here. After the fight was over, she was shown back to her room. She is still waiting for Rod and Emmeline to return. Now, would you maybe willing to tell me the story from the beginning? Perhaps I could fill in the gasps, Your Majesty. Claude? The king looks startled when he stares at Claude. He blinks as if he has just noticed his presence. Oh, and you are? Claude elegantly bows before the king. I am Prince Claude of Brugantia. A pleasure to finally meet you, Your Majesty. The lost prince? The king turns to me with a puzzled look. It's a long story. Claude surprises me by wrapping an arm around my shoulders and pulling me closer to him. Everyone looks shocked, except for Delora, who looks like she is trying not to laugh. As the prince's lover, I feel it my obligation to help her explain this whole mess. I feel my face getting hotter at a sudden proclamation. All their eyes are now on me, and I suddenly feel like hiding myself. Only Claude would so bluntly say such a thing. The king looks more shocked than anything. When did this happen? Well, your majesty, I think we had better start at the beginning. We were able to tell the king everything, save for where Varg had disappeared, too. No one was sure where he had gone in all the chaos. The knight's searches for him all ended in failure. A lot of explaining had to be done, not just to the king, but also to people at the tavern. As soon as everything has calmed down, Rod and Emmeline finally went back to the palace. I apologized to them as best as I can, and they all seemed willing to try again with me. And I'm willing to try again too. As for Claude, so you're going back. Are you sure you don't want to come to Brugantia with me? Just for a short holiday? I would love nothing more than to introduce you to my family. Mother would shower you with gifts. Father would, well, tease you, probably. He makes jokes frequently, and Liama? What did you just say? Liama? He has a pet llama? My brother. Liama. What? Another acronym. We're Karma and Liama. Does your father do these things on purpose? I told you he likes jokes. My brother's real name is Lance. I was going to bring you back and introduce the both of you. And you could tell my little brother how just charming I am. Is it just my imagination, or is there a glimmer of competition in his eyes? As much as I would like to meet your family, you have your own obligations here, and you need to let your family know that you are safe and alive. But the thought of being separated from you. Claude sighs before he leans down and plants a kiss on my forehead. I'll miss you. You won't be gone that long. Love, that's not how you're supposed to respond. You're supposed to say, my sweet prince, I will miss you too. Fine, then I'll miss you, maybe. Claude raises an eyebrow at me and then smiles. I'll be back for your birthday. I love you, Lucette. It has only been a few weeks since Claude left, but I am impatient. The king has been throwing grand dinners every night in preparation for my birthday, but I can hardly concentrate on anyone else when I am thinking of Claude. I told him about all of the smaller birthday celebrations. I thought he would be here for them. My birthday is in a few days. When will he come back? I have tried to make myself busy, mainly by continuing my sword practice with Jurian and Garland, who have both rejoined the Order of Caldera. Every time I am around the nights, I think of Fritz. I shall bring some new flowers tomorrow. If Claude would just return already, we could go pay our respect. we could go pay our respects together. Hello, Lucid, my love, my sunshine, my beautiful betrothed. Claude? I shake my head and try to gather my thoughts. First of all, we did not knock. Second, we are not engaged. We may as well be, don't you think? At the very least, knock before you come in. Still worried I would come in on you in the middle of changing? Would you have minded so terribly? Yes. It's worth saying those things to you just to see you blush. Why are you even here? His arrival is so sudden, and I had absolutely no time to prepare. Claude sighs dramatically. You didn't want me back here? No, I mean, you did not even write to say you'd be back today. I just wasn't expecting you. I did say I would be back for your birthday. I am a man of my word. Should I have stayed out longer? No, of course not. I grumble as Claude walks over my bed, grinning. He sits down on my bed next to me and wraps an arm around my waist, pulling me closer. I sigh out and lean my head on his shoulder. It is a startling contrast to what it used to be. Before, if I touched him, he would flinch and turn away from me. Now he is always right next to me. Claude's whole body seems to relax when I tentatively wrap my arms around him and hug him back. I knew I would miss you, but it really was terrible being away from you. But you enjoyed the time with your family. I did, and my brother was very frustrated that I spoke about you almost every hour of the day. How could you have that much to say about me? Oh, I felt that I didn't have enough time to list off all your virtues. I nudge him in the arm, but he just grins at me. A glint from Claude's pocket catches my eyes, and I blush proudly when I notice the rose locket. Looking at the locket makes me think back to that night when he transformed into a prince. Lost in thought, are we? I was just noticing the locket. You still carry it around with you. Of course I do. It has become my most valuable possession. He pulls the little locket out and pops it open. I am startled when I see the small sheet of paper with my own words on it. My message to him is still there. Claude smiles and as he reads the words aloud. A normal rose would have withered, so I offered this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I say nothing when he turns to look at me. Oh, your cheeks are red again. Your embarrassment is adorable, darling. I am not embarrassed. I just didn't think he'd keep the words in there, or that they would ever mean so much to him. Yes, of course, you just have exceptionally rosy cheeks. He pauses as he pauses as he closes the locket again and looks at it fondly. I love this locket because it is the first gift you gave me. He was holding the locket as the beast too. It was half of the reason I recognize him. I jump as Claude gently taps my nose with his finger. This locket isn't going anywhere anytime soon, I can assure you. I smile as he winked at me. Anyway, allow me to pull you back into the present. Since I promised you no more secrets, let me tell you something. Oh. Claude looks away from me, his eyebrows furrowing, and I frown. I hope it is nothing serious. I'm nervous about sitting down to dinner with your father tonight. You're nervous? I start laughing without even meaning to. You're laughing at my pain, princess. He pulls me closer and kisses the top of my head. But you are too flamboyant to be nervous. I'm confident, princess, not flamboyant. There's a difference. Right. Claude's expression grows more solemn. He looks at me seriously, almost sadly. Lucid, I'm still sorry about lying to you. The whole time I made myself up to be someone beautiful, someone I wasn't. I believed I was truly a good person on the inside and that I deserved good things, even though I was selfish. He's already apologized to me before too many times. Claude, you do not have to apologize. No, that witch was right to curse me. I've always had everything handed to me on a silver platter. When I came to Angel, I believed that if it wasn't going to help break my curse, it wasn't important. And then I met you. At first I thought I would just have to get you At first I thought I would just have to get on your good side so you could help me dispel my curse. But then, Lucid, I realized I was drawn to your confidence and commitment. But I could never admit that I was in love with you. I was so scared that if I transformed into a beast and you were scared of me, I would lose my chance of winning your heart. So, you see, princess, I was selfish. I wanted all of you without having to give you all of me. I look down at where our hands are intertwined, and I grip his fingers tighter. I've told you enough times now that you have nothing to apologize for. But if you insist on apologizing, maybe you ought to do something to make it up to me. Those words are out my lips before I can even think about them. I stop suddenly, trying to ignore the hot flush in my cheeks. Claude looks at me, puzzled, and for a few moments I feel triumphant that I have caught him off guard. Then the puzzled look fades and Claude just grins at me. Oh my, so forward. Forward? I open my mouth to apologize when he suddenly grabs my hands and tucks me down to the bed. The instincts Claude taught me in the sword fighting are quickly overwhelmed by my surprise, and in no time at all, he has me pinned down to the bed and is looming just above me, smiling. disappointed. Princess, you knew my weakness and you didn't even exploit it there. Your weakness? Yes. He leans closer to me and our nose almost touch. My weakness is you, Lucid. He leans down and our lips finally meet. I relax into the contact, my earlier tension melting away as warmth flows through me. He pulls away and smiles at me. You see, I let my guard down in front of you. I let my guard down in front of him too. And only him. This whole time, all I've wanted to do is to be able to touch him like this. His fingers move gently up to my arm and he leans down to kiss me again. The sound of knocking startles us both. The muffled voice comes through the door. Princess, the king is requesting your presence down in the dining hall. He says that your friends have arrived. Princess? I hear the doorknob begins to turn and quickly speak. Yes, I will be there in a minute. I will let them know, Princess. First the curse, and now this. It is as if the world is conspiring against us. He kisses me once more on the forehead before slowly sitting up and running a hand through his hair. I catch his mischievous look in his eyes as I smooth down on my own ruffled hair. Don't worry, Lucid. We'll finish this later. I feel my cheeks flush. You say such uncouth things. Claude chuckles before he stands up and offers his hand. I take it and smile up at him. I love you, Lucid, and now I get to say it as many times as I like. I love you too, Claude. I stand up to my toes to plant a quick kiss on his lips before heading to the door. Let's go, Claude.